You're with Man to Man, and today we're talking about manhood. Khalil, there's such a confusion around masculinity in the world today, isn't there? And one of the stories that just really moved me was the story you mentioned when you first went into prison and you discovered that just the sheer savagery, that there's this masculinity gone wrong.
It was, in many respects, we called it gladiator training. There was this idea that to be a man meant to be violent, to be savage, to be ruthless. And I remember distinctly being young and very impressionable, and actually I had never witnessed anything such as I was about to experience in prison under those circumstances. And I had to develop a kind of hardness. Actually, it was a level of detachment. I wasn't allowed to cry. I wasn't allowed to be deeply empathetic or even care about what I was seeing happen to another human being who was another man that in some cases I had looked up to, and in other cases I had called my enemy. And what I actually discovered was that even the men who I encountered, who I considered to be my enemy, I, without any provocation, felt a connection to them when I saw something happen to them that was savage. And so this ideal of manhood and masculinity, I ended up with arriving at an understanding of masculinity as actually being more a mask than anything else. And I struggled with how to take off the mask once I put it on.
Masculinity is a powerful and beautiful gift to humanity, isn't it? I mean, you imagine the power and the strength which was directed towards each other, savagery. You imagine harnessing that for good. You know, men have a desire to fight a battle, to live an adventure, to live a life, a story bigger than just their own lives. But imagine if they direct that well. You know, if we lived in a world where every man was using his strength well, using his strength to stand against what's wrong, to stand for what's right, we wouldn't need a prison system. We wouldn't need police force. If every man just harnessed his energy and his strength and all that he had to do good, we'd live in an amazing world. And I think the confusion around masculinity is very tragic today. I mean, what are the models of masculinity? You know, we've got politicians that have gone completely wrong, CEOs that are, sociopathic. We've got Homer Simpson, and we've got the role models of men, rap artists. It's just a distorted view, a distorted caricature of what masculinity is.
Most people have these conversations about how do we empower? How do we empower men? How do we do all these things? We already have power.
Exactly.
The fundamental question that we need to ask is, how are we using the power we have? That's what's missing. If you are using that power for good, then you can personify manhood at its best. But if you get a group of guys who are in a situation where all of their decisions about how to use their power have gone wrong, terribly wrong, if the examples that they have been witness to have been examples that have distorted their sense of manhood, then this is what we end up with. We end up with men who become rapists.
Yep.
We end up with men who become patriarchal. We end up with men who become sexist in their own homes and who diminish the power of the women who they say they actually love, including their daughters.
Masculinity is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's there to love, to serve, and to protect. I think we get two extremes of masculinity. The one is passivity, where men just kind of check out. They fail to use their strength. They have a kid, they abandon the kid. They've got a family, but they spend their time in the TV or in the bar or behind a bottle. They're the checking out man. And then you get the kind of guy who misuses his strength to dominate and to I can never be wrong. I can never apologize. I've got to dominate. I've always got to be the man, the right. Play the man. And I think the bottom line is we don't have to play the man to be the man. We are the man. We have the power, we have the strength, and we need to use it well. Love, honor, serve, protect.